Attention passionate Montreal, Canadiens fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the Atlantic Division and it could shake up the entire conference. We're talking about a direct impact on Montreal Canadiens' path to another Stanley Cup run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Montreal Canadiens fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Montreal Canadiens fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been following the Canadiens this offseason, you know it's been a roller coaster. The team has been incredibly active, making moves that signal their serious intent to contend, or at least to build a more competitive squad. They've made some bold decisions, like acquiring Noah Dobson from the New York Islanders, which definitely sent ripples through the division. Dobson, a talented defenseman with a lot of potential, is seen as a key piece to bolster Montreal's blue line. His arrival is giving fans hope that the Canadiens are serious about tightening their defensive core and adding more stability to their back end. But perhaps one of the most talked about moves, or rather the potential move, is related to the ongoing pursuit of Mason McTavish from the Anaheim Ducks. Now, for those of you who have followed the rumors, you'll know that Montreal has shown a lot of interest in this young, talented center. McTavish, who's just at the beginning of his NHL career, has been a hot topic all summer. The Canadiens see him as a perfect fit for their top six core, someone who can bring both scoring and playmaking ability to their lineup. But here's where things get complicated, and why this story is so fascinating for Canadiens fans. The thing is, the Ducks have been very clear about their stance on McTavish. Their GM, Pat Verbeek, has made it known that Mason McTavish isn't just another player on their roster, he's a cornerstone piece for the franchise moving forward. And while McTavish is still technically an RFA, or restricted free agent, the signs are pointing to the fact that he'll stay in Anaheim, at least for now. Verbeek's comments and the way he's handled the negotiations suggest that the Ducks are not interested in letting go of their young star easily. And that makes the entire pursuit from Montreal more complicated. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Montreal Canadiens news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Now, there are insiders like Marco D'Amico who have been digging into this situation, and what they're saying is pretty revealing. D'Amico, who's well respected for his inside info, recently appeared on the Sean Starr Show to discuss the Canadiens' interest in McTavish, and what he revealed is pretty sobering for Montreal fans. According to him, unless Kirby Dach somehow fails to become a reliable second-line center, the Canadiens might not pursue McTavish so aggressively. It's a tough pill to swallow because many fans have been dreaming of adding a player like Mason, who's got the size, skill, and youth to be a franchise cornerstone. D'Amico pointed out that Pat Verbeek has been very clear in his stance. He's not just going to let McTavish walk for nothing or for a low return. Verbeek has been very firm, giving the impression that McTavish isn't going anywhere unless an extraordinary offer comes along, and even then, it's unlikely. It's a classic case of a team wanting to keep their young star, especially when they see him as part of their long-term plans. And interestingly, McTavish himself doesn't seem to be eager to leave Anaheim either. There were opportunities for offer sheets all summer, but nothing materialized, and it looks like McTavish's camp was largely disinterested, or at least not motivated to push for a trade. This is significant because it signals that the young center values stability and perhaps sees his future with the Ducks. It's also a reminder that negotiations in the NHL can be complex, especially with young players who are still developing and whose teams are eager to retain their best assets. Unlike the Noah Dobson situation, where Montreal was clearly a wanted destination and the Islanders were open to trading him, McTavish's case is different. The Ducks see him as a foundational player, and Verbeek isn't rushing to give him up. This makes the prospect of Montreal landing him quite a distant dream, at least for now. But that doesn't mean the Canadiens aren't exploring their options. Montreal's management, as usual, is looking for ways to improve the team, and they're aware that they might need to look elsewhere if McTavish remains out of reach. D'Amico mentions that Montreal's priority might shift towards developing their prospects like Michael Hage, who's been gaining attention as a potential top six center in their pipeline. The team might be more inclined to give Hage a shot in the near future rather than chase after a player who's so firmly embedded with the Ducks. And here's the interesting part. If things don't go well for the Penguins this season, especially if Sidney Crosby or Evgeny Malkin considers waiving their no-movement clauses, the Canadiens might pivot and make a bigger push for a veteran star like Malkin. D'Amico suggests that Montreal is more likely to be patient and wait for the right opportunity, rather than overpay for someone like McTavish who's not interested in leaving Anaheim at this moment. It's all about timing and assessing the team's long-term needs. Now, let's take a moment to look at what this means for the Canadiens this season. They have a lot of pieces coming together, and while their roster may not be the most star-studded in the division, they're building a team that's competitive and hungry. The addition of Noah Dobson gives them a solid blue line, and if Kirby Dach can step up and deliver as a second-line center, the Canadiens could see a significant boost in their offensive production. Dach has shown flashes of brilliance, and the team's coaching staff is certainly counting on him to be a reliable secondary option behind their top-line stars. But the real question is, can the Canadiens find that consistent second-line center? Because that's been a challenge for them for quite some time. They've been searching for stability in the middle of the ice, and right now, Dach's performance will be under close watch. If he struggles, Montreal might have to consider other options, possibly looking into free agency or even internal prospects like Michael Hage or others in their pipeline. The goal is to give young talent time to develop, but also to be competitive enough to push for a playoff spot. From a broader perspective, the Atlantic Division is heating up. Teams like the Boston Bruins, Tampa Bay Lightning, and Toronto Maple Leafs are all making their own moves, and Montreal needs to stay ahead of the curve. The division is deep, talented, and highly competitive, which makes every move and every negotiation even more crucial. The Canadiens are clearly trying to position themselves for a strong push, but the reality is that some of their targets, like McTavish, are proving to be more elusive than they initially thought. Looking ahead, fans should keep an eye on how the Canadiens manage their roster, especially as the season approaches. Will they be patient and develop their own prospects? Will they make a splash with a veteran free agent? Or will they continue to explore trades that can bring immediate help? The team's management has a lot on their plate, and the decisions they make now could shape their trajectory not just this season, but for years to come. And let's not forget the importance of the fan base in all of this. Montreal fans are some of the most passionate in the league, and they're hungry for success. They want to see their team competing at the highest level, making bold moves, and bringing back that Stanley Cup glory. The off-season moves have set the stage for an exciting year, and even with the setbacks and challenges, there's a sense of optimism that this team is on the rise. So, as we approach the start of the season, all eyes will be on how the Canadiens navigate this complex landscape. Will Dach step up and become that reliable second-line center? Will they find a way to strengthen their roster without overpaying for players like McTavish? Or will they focus on internal development and wait for the right opportunities? Whatever happens, one thing is for sure, Montreal is not backing down and their fans shouldn't either. This team is showing resilience, ambition, and a clear desire to compete at the highest level once again. And now, Montreal Canadiens fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Montreal Canadiens. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Montreal Canadiens news. Thanks for riding along with me today, and as always, let's keep the passion alive. Go Canadiens!